Hello everyone, welcome to the Ranting Shop. It's me, Melissa, and I'm back inside to talk about the latest interview that I actually saw like 19 minutes after it got dropped on YouTube, which is the Ashley interview on Nick Vial's podcast. One thing I must say though is I really despise when people really want to know answers to things, and these people go on podcasts and the interviewers never ask the questions that people want to know. All they do is kiss the guest. Oh yeah, of course, I completely understand. Oh, I would do that too. I know why they're doing it. Like, it's strategic. It's so that it encourages more people to feel safe going there to get interviewed. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you're not asking or pushing on certain answers that the guests are giving, then what is even the point of having the interview in the first place? It's just going to keep us just as clueless or stuck at the same point we were prior to even listening to the interview. So I just don't get these people and their podcast and constantly agreeing with the guest, everything the guest does, like walking on eggshells, like the guest, they're afraid to say certain. I just hate the tipsy toeing around guests. I despise it. So we're gonna get into the Ashley interview. First of all, I don't know why she's the one who has decided to be the spokesperson of that relationship. None of what has been happening is or has anything to do with her, so I don't particularly know why she's deciding that she's the best person to speak on a situation she wasn't even there for, not privy to, wasn't around when it happened. Like, girl, like, go find something else to do and let Tyler deal with his mess on his own. She says she spoke on when the bomb was dropped on her that he had children. So they went out, came back in, he's serious, she knows something is wrong. She makes a joke and says, "You have kids?" And he didn't laugh. So later on, well, soon after that, I should say, she finds out that he has not one, not two, but 3 children. Now, initially, she thought maybe he has an STD. I would have liked to know that before I had before I had intimate relations with you. But that wasn't the case. It's that he had 3 children, and I just feel as if, and then what he initially said when he was trying to explain it was that he was being of service to a lesbian couple. He was being a sperm donor to a lesbian couple. And that is completely untrue. So while he's deciding to divulge the messiness of his past, he is doing it in a manner where he's letting the information out bit by bit, as opposed to just saying what the complete truth of the matter is. So initially, it doesn't sound bad. I have 3 children, but they were as a result of me being of service to a lesbian couple. That sounds honorable, right? That sounds like, what's the big deal, right? Well, it's because he's hiding more stuff. Now, she says that you robbed me of my choice, and he not only robbed her of her choice because of the situation with the children, he robbed her of her choice because he never said or told her the complete truth and the nature of why he has 3 so-called sperm babies that he cut off or no longer wants to be connected to. Now, while he's telling her, I was a sperm donor for a lesbian couple, she admits that she never asked deep questions at that time. And in my mind, I'm wondering why. This is before you guys decided to jump the broom. I mean, understandably, this is a different type of process. Everything moves quickly, whatever the case may be. But if you're hearing things that are brand new to you, why wouldn't you dig deeper and ask more questions? Now, in that instance, the only thing that came to mind was it's because she already fell for him. She already fell for him. You know how women like to see a man, fall for them, and romanticize the future with them. She did all of that prior to that conversation, which is why it was so easy for her to decide, okay, this is horrible. It seems as if you're doing something good for her, for your friend and her wife. Let me just keep it at that and continue moving forward with you. I think she did it because she wants the fairy tale that she drummed up in her head to come to fruition. So once that fairy tale is up in her brain, she has no, how should I say this? She has no interest in anything that gets in the way of that vision. So that's why she didn't ask questions. She needed the wedding to happen. She needed the fairy tale, and she did not want anything to interrupt that fantasy. Okay, she says, I wasn't asking the right questions in that moment. I mainly was just trying to figure out what everything was about. And in my no rational human being will get into, first of all, that man is a stranger to you. So the moment he drops a bomb, the least you could do is to delve deeper into it. But as I said, I already explained why she didn't do it. So she admits that even if it was just sperm donation, he should have been transparent in the port. And that's true. That's 100% correct. And that action in and of itself should be really deeply analyzed in your brain in order to determine the type of person that you are gonna be dealing with. Because if he's gonna lie about a situation that could impact your life, your salary, and everything about your well-being moving forward, imagine what more he will lie about. So it doesn't seem like she took that into consideration. After they had the talk, they go to production and they tell production, this is what happened. Did you know about it? Production didn't tell her yes or no. And there was this recent interview that the show's creator went on, and he was divulging information about Ashley and why they didn't intervene, and he was basically saying everybody has a past, and basically these people have a show to make, and that's all they care about, period. That's all they care about. And if there are some messy situations there, that's bonus for them. Why would they intervene when their bottom line is for a great show, not to assist or aid the contestants? So if I know that you're about to get engaged to a guy that has 40 felonies, doing this, doing that, if my thinking is for an amazing show, a dramatic show, I'm not gonna tell you that. You're gonna be making a mistake, and that's your mistake to make. Essentially, that's what the people were saying. At the end of the day, I think that's why if you decide to go on a show like this, make sure you'll ask important questions. I don't know if she asked him if he had children in the past, but it doesn't seem like that conversation happened, because she gave an example and she said there was a guy she didn't even continue talking to because he had a child. She did not want a man with a child already. She wanted to make a family from scratch. She didn't want the man to have prior marriages, prior children, etc., etc. Isn't it ironic that what she was trying to avoid, she ended up falling right into. Anyways, let's move on. They talk some more, and he says, okay, she asked him about his past, and she says, I wasn't the best dating at all. And she said that wasn't a red flag for her. So after the guy admits that he was a piece of ish in the dating scene, you decide to let that go too. So you see how many red flags she's letting go. The fact that he lied to her and waited to tell her after she had already started having feelings for him, which is, in my opinion, extremely manipulative, because that way it's harder for her to leave once she's already had feelings for you. That proves to me that his intention wasn't to protect her, help her, save her. His intention was to trap her in a relationship with him, emotionally trap her. And he did a very good job, because not only did he trap her, he probably guilted her. All of that is emotional tactics. Oh, I was a victim. He victimized himself to make her feel sorry for him. And all of a sudden, this maternal instinct wants to protect this poor, innocent guy that is just too giving, and he's too loving, and he's too this, and he's too naive, and he's too that. Just cut the BS for me. I can't take it. So she surmised what he said about him in past relationships as just annoying things that he did. He just did some annoying things. If not disclosing that you consensually had a child with your best friend to your fiance, Lord, I don't know what that is. If that's just an annoying thing, then I don't know. I really don't know. So they go and they speak on the fact that, oh, he's having a child for the married couple, not disclosing that actually what happened was the initial plan was for him to provide sperm to that couple, but there was some shakiness going on there, because when the ex-wife left, for whatever reason, she left for a baby moon or whatever, all of a sudden they magically conceived after the ex-wife left. How did that happen? The turkey-based methods weren't working. And as I said before, I don't even think that was his sperm. I think that he didn't really use sperm. He didn't really give her sperm. So of course she wasn't gonna get pregnant. But if we know one thing about Bri, that woman is fertile. Okay? So the wife thinks all 3 children were conceived through consensual sex. All 3. But he keeps getting stuck on the very initial plan, which was for him to provide sperm for this married couple. That was the very initial plan. That was the first plan. That plan went out of the window the moment the ex-wife started to put 2 and 2 together in her mind and realized that, well, Bri looks like she has a thing for Tyler. When I leave the house, all of a sudden she's pregnant, and it didn't even take much time, but during the divorce process, you're pregnant again with twins, and you want me to believe that these people did not have an ongoing sexual relationship? You want me to believe that all of this was simply sperm donation? Come again. Now, she said she talked to the family members, she talked to the mom, she talked to his friends, and all of them gave her a fuller picture of what was actually going on, which is crazy to me, because at the end of the day, if you're gonna talk to your husband's friends and mom, obviously, unless they were there during that time, they can't really speak to the truth of the situation. The most they can do and will do is regurgitate everything that Tyler has told them to regurgitate. You don't think Tyler had a hand in how his mom responded to Ashley and how his friends responded to Ashley? If you don't think so, you are sadly a little bit slow. Who she needed to go and have a conversation with was Bri. So it's like, all how I'm looking at the situation, it seems to me as if Ashley was or is purposely avoiding getting the real tea because she just doesn't want to shatter her fairy tale. If you want to find out some stuff on a guy, you don't go to his friends. You don't go to his mom. These people are on his side and are gonna do what he wants them to do. If Tyler goes to his mom and says, "Mom, please, I love this woman. Please don't tell her the real situation. Please just tell her this," or "This is what happened. You could tell her that." Like, obviously, you're gonna comply. Now, she says when the ex-wife left, she was pregnant with the twins. Did you ever ask Tyler how she ended up pregnant with those twins? Because she never elaborated how the Bri ended up pregnant with those kids. Bri ended up pregnant with those kids through natural conception, through intercourse. She's like, "Oh, Tyler grew up with a father that was dying of bone cancer. He wasn't even invited to our wedding." And Tyler's like, "When I give my sperm, I give it to a family, not for you to be a single mom." And that's when he jumped in. So essentially, he's still calling it giving his sperm. I don't understand how giving your sperm is to have sexual intercourse with somebody and knock them up in that very natural way. But then Bri's ex-wife did say that when Bri decided to get pregnant and be a mom, she wanted it to happen the natural way. That's what Bri's ex-wife said. So it could possibly be that Tyler was giving Bri what she wanted, which is natural conception. I mean, makes sense to me. So knowing that his dad abandoned him, he decides, okay, let me step in and step up for these children because now Bri is a single mom because the ex-wife left. Now, it's very, I could understand if they left it at having only one child and that one child being the sperm donor agreement. I could understand that. I could understand it. But I can't understand it. That logic goes out of the window when you make 2 more children. It goes out of the window because why would you make 2 children? And bear in mind, at that time, right, Bri and her wife were going through a divorce. So she was becoming a single mom, became, I should say, a single mom with the first child. Tyler decided, I want to step in because I don't want her to be a single mom, and fights in the court of law to take custody of the first child away from the ex-wife. They succeeded. So now they have a child. That child is biologically Tyler's. He decides, okay, I'm going to step in, be there for you. You don't have a wife anymore. I don't want you to be a single mom. Right? They move in together. And later on, I gave my sperm, I give it to a family, not for you to be a single mom. And that's when he stepped in. The situation of the pictures. Oh, Tyler was just around for holidays. He was barely there. Right? He was only there for pictures. He didn't live in the house with her. He lived in the house next to her, or he lived in the same building complex. Lies. Lies. Because according to what Bri said, not Bryce's ex-wife said, Daisha, they moved in together. They were playing house. They moved in together. They were together in the same house. So how could you say that? Oh, if you pay attention to the pictures, it's only of holidays and special moments. At the end of the day, even if you live together with your family, do you guys post pictures every single day? Don't you guys just post pictures of like major moments like Christmas, Thanksgiving? Don't you just post these pictures? She's acting like she is saying something so profound, as if people who live, a family that lives with each other constantly takes pictures of each other. I mean, that still doesn't seem far-fetched that they live together, even if they did take pictures for special occasions. I mean, okay, that's not far-fetched. But she's making it seem as if because he was only there for holiday pictures, that means he's just there for a friend and her children. That's crazy. So that's another lie she's choosing to believe, even if it makes no sense. He was around, she says. He let them call him daddy. Tell me if that making sense. So you're already in a very complicated situation, having children with one of your really good friends who is no longer married to her wife. You continue to sleep with her. You continue to live with her in the house. You'll continue your sexual escapades with other people and do all of that, right? And all of a sudden, you want to play house. You let the children call you dad. You let them call you dad. As far as the children knows, you're their father. Biologically, in every way, you're their dad. The worst thing he could have done was let the children call him dad. Like, I don't understand why he continuously kept putting himself in a deeper and deeper hole, unless that's what he wanted at that time. He wanted a family. He wanted to be in a relationship. And it seemed like this whole time, Bryce seemed very confused. Does she want women? Does she want men? And I understand, okay, you could say that sexuality is on a spectrum. Maybe she's 80% lesbian and the other percentage straight. I don't know. But whatever it was, I don't think she really knew what it is that she wanted to do and where it is she wanted to be. Because they also spoke on her having other relationships while Tyler was still in the picture and he not knowing where to be or what to do. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that's what Miss Ashley said. So this stand-up guy steps up and he was like, sure, I'll be their dad. Picking them up from daycare, doing all the things daddies do, and for you to decide suddenly, I don't want to do this anymore. You can't say that. You can't do that. And for Ashley to say, regardless if we choose to keep talking to you and the kids or not, that's crazy. For you to even think or consider it an option to continue to speak with these poor children that had nothing to do in the type of madness these adults put them in is just insane. Then she talks about when she saw the boy, because the little boy looks just like Tyler. So when she saw the boy, it like kind of broke my heart a little bit, because he looks a lot like him, and I just like loved him immediately through a picture because I love Tyler so much. So it was very awkward for me to navigate as well, but this is the reason why it came to a point where Tyler, so a lot of the pictures, they're younger, like whatever he was, never ever around on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. There were times you wouldn't see them all. I'm like, he lived in Arlington, blah, 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 whatever. So she's saying he was barely there. Then he was only there for pictures. Then he didn't live with them. Then he lived in a building next to them. Then he lived in Arlington. I don't know what the situation is. It's just so confusing. So you loved his son because his son looks just like him, but then you're so happy to just abandon that same child you say you love because he looks like his dad. And you don't even consider the twins when they're the ones that's the most important in this situation. They're the ones that Bri and Tyler decided to have consensually. They're the ones that there was no clear plan as to how they were going to raise these children or what they were going to do. Those are the ones that his name is on for their birth certificate. And that's the ones she knows nothing about. Oh, he was barely even there with the twins. You barely see him with the twins. Oh, I haven't seen the twins' birth certificates. So as far as the twins are concerned, Ashley is essentially saying she doesn't care too much about them. For whatever reason. When that's the one he has all the rights towards and put his name on birth certificates for. But for the boy, that was the boy that he agreed to donate his sperm for some reason. That's the one that she's stuck on. Maybe it's because the boy plays into Tyler's narrative that he was a sperm donor, but the twins basically crushes that whole argument, and she just cannot bear to even think or fathom that he had 2 more children consensually with the same so-called sperm donor baby mama. That would destroy all logic. I feel like if the interviewers were able to debunk everything that she was saying, she would be stuck. And she would really have no reason to be with Tyler other than her own selfish motives and fantasies and delusions and future plans. Period. It breaking your heart to see the same child, that so-called sperm donor child. It breaks your heart. But at the same time, you're okay with Tyler never speaking to him again. It's crazy. Right? It is crazy. He would always be on the outside looking in. He has no rights. He can't say where they go to school. He can't say anything. He can't discipline. He can't do anything. So to him, he's like, I pop up and I'm an uncle and I play with them and I wear these dad t-shirts. Anyways, I don't know. That's the story he gave to Ashley. I'm just on the outside looking in. She's had partners and I've just been there. I have no rights, but then your name is on a birth certificate. Make it make sense. You have no rights, but you fight for custody on Bryce's behalf for the sperm donor child. And according to what Deshawn was saying, she thought that Tyler would be less hands-on. He thought all he was doing was giving them sperm. But that man literally stepped in and he said, I want to be here for my child. He literally pushed Deshawn out of the picture just for him to abandon this child, and for Ashley to be fine with it is mad to me. It's mad to me. This is not my family. I'm on the outside looking in. Oh, sure. According to Ashley, he's a good guy that got too deep and didn't know what to do next. So when he finally decided to cut the situation off, of course, it's awkward and it hurts him as well to know about the kids. But he felt like it was better to do it now than to wait any longer. And he's like, I want my own family, like I want my own things. Whereas she's probably like, well, damn, like you were around. You know why we do this now. They just have 2 different perspectives. I'm only going off of things that I don't know that I know and the things I'm trusting. Again, why are you talking about this? And this has nothing to do with you. I can't take Ashley seriously because she wasn't there. And she's just being Tyler's PR. And it's not working. If you're not there, you can't speak on the things that were happening when you weren't there. Period. Here I will say she wrote me. So there she's talking about how Bri wrote her after, blasting him on her social media platform and apologizing to her. According to Ashley, she apologized to me and Tyler and said she's praying for us and she never meant for it to go this way. And she wouldn't say too much on this forum. And Bri wants literally nothing to do with Tyler. Somebody said in that situation that maybe the Bri messaged Ashley because Ashley is indirectly affected by all of this. But she refuses to really communicate with Tyler because I feel like she knows Tyler's on some BS. Like at that point, Tyler had been abandoned her children and her for a whole year. So she was pissed. If everything was cool and she in fact apologized to Ashley and Tyler, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have an issue having a conversation with Tyler. But for the fact that Bri only spoke to and so-called apologized to Ashley, leads me to believe that she's not necessarily sorry about blasting Tyler. She's just sorry that it indirectly affects Ashley. And that's it. So, the kids are still a thing. So I wouldn't mind having a sit down with you. Like, I want to know what the motive is here. Like, even his mom, like when I talk to her, she's like, it is exactly what he's saying and used to be. She's trying to say Tyler's mom was also confused about what was going on. And my thing about it is like, okay, yes. Bri got the impression that when Tyler went on his show for the notoriety or whatever he went on the show for, Bri was all on board because for her, if that means you can provide for my children, I'll support it, right? Bri never thought that Tyler would have abandoned her for his new beginning, and that's exactly what he did, because throughout his time on the show he is communicating with Bri. So there's an instance where Ashley says that Tyler cuts it off with Bri prior to the show happening. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie because communication continued. So for me, I'm choosing to believe, or should I say, based on the information I've seen and heard, it seems as if he cut that situation off with Bri and her children when he realized that he found himself a really rich dummy. Okay, well, she's not really rich, but a financially stable dummy that's willing to believe everything he says and purposely defy logic for her own fairy tales and fantasies. Then he knew he caught a big one. And so he's like, well, I have to cut off my other situation. That's what he did. And that's why he did it. This is us trying to speak on his character. I just have to say this. If you meet him for 5 minutes, you will see how genuine he is. He's a people pleaser, and I hate that about him. So there she's trying to speak on his good nature, his good character. He's such a good person. He's so innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. People took advantage of him. People are blackmailing him. People are doing things to him. That's crazy to me. Oh, he sacrificed himself for people, and that's why he's hurt. He's shocked by what the mom is doing. he had a conversation with her post-filming. I don't know the exact time. Let's say a year or two before, when he started slowing down and, coming around and basically said something along the lines of, I just don't have a connection with these kids, and that she's hurt because she's like, well, why you don't see they're still kind of your kids, like you don't have a connection. He's like, this is your family and this is what I originally signed up for. I know I stepped in to try to help. I know I said I'd be there for the twins. You were by yourself. The twins made it worse, and so biologically these are still his kids, so he feels a certain way, but he's like, I can't do this. And she's like, why? She was disappointed. And so he's giving Bri an excuse as to why he can no longer be there for these children. Like 100% abandonment, like dropping them like a bad habit. If dropping someone like a bad habit was a person, it would be Tyler. I just don't want to have any connection with you or them, because if I talk to you, although you've been my long-term friend, there's no way I wouldn't be able to not talk to the kids, and I think it's best if I removed myself. And Ashley essentially is making it seem like she only wants him involved. She only wants him involved once her ex-wife left. I think he was involved around, like, even the ex-wife kind of said, like, he was around, but kind of in an uncle capacity. And I don't think that, she wanted him around as much. Yeah. The ex-wife didn't want him there because the agreement wasn't for him to be there in the children's lives. The agreement in the child's life. The agreement was for him to provide sperm and get the fuck on. Move. Go somewhere. But that would never make sense, because why do that with a friend? A friend that comes around. It just didn't make sense. She speaks here about the whole taking the child away from the ex-wife and why Tyler stepped in and why he became a bigger part of the children's lives. He blames it on the wife leaving. The wife leaving. Because she was by herself, blah, 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 yada, yada. She didn't accept that. So she's talking about the mom, Bri's mom. She says Bri's mom didn't accept that Bri was a lesbian. She says grandma is projecting. So grandma is acting as if Bri and Tyler were in a relationship. But Ashley is saying they weren't. He says that the grandmother will not come and apologize to her because the grandmother is kind of in denial at what Bri is. The mother doesn't want to think that her daughter is a lesbian, so her mother is going to continue to act as if Tyler is the dad. Like, typical relationships where the woman is with the guy, and that's what the mom wants to believe. That's what Ashley says. The mom deleted everything. I guess the post about Tyler abandoning his children. But everyone already has it. It's already out there. I mean, what would you do if the person that's supposed to the children called dad is on a public show saying that he doesn't have children? Like, what would you do? Wouldn't you be enraged? So I feel like the motive that Bri had to come on social media and air out Tyler was because of anger. She did it out of anger. She was enraged. And she just did it because it's like, you're not going to deny me and my children on a national platform, which I understand. The lady said she's going to stand beside her man. And what other juicy thing did they talk about? So Nick Vial asked her, like, what if these children want a relationship with their father, like, when they become adults? And she's like, that's something they're gonna figure out together, because when she decided to continue to, pursue marriage with Tyler, that's something that she also considered. They probably will eventually see their father denying them. I don't know how Tyler thought that lying about knowing his children would protect the children. I just don't get it, to be honest. I don't get it. And that just proves that these people don't know a thing about how social media deep dives. She wouldn't say yes to a marriage unless she was okay with what was gonna come. And I asked him what that's like for him, and he's like he's willing to have the tough conversation with them on why you were supposed to have two moms, and that is always what the plan was, and blah 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 blah, until things got blurry and things got too deep. I'm sorry if you were ever hurt in the process when you were young. Now I was like, do you think you're going to be able to say that to him? He's very confident in that way because he just doesn't see what he did as a negative thing. If he did not see what he did as a negative thing, why didn't he tell you the complexities of his situation even before you got out of the pods? Why didn't he disclose that then? Clearly the man is embarrassed and he wants nothing to do with his past. That should tell you that's somebody that does see his actions as negative. That is somebody that deeply regrets being a part of this whole situation, whether it be because he's found you or whether it's because he's realizing that that's not what he wants. Either way, either way, to say that you don't see it as negative but then move as if you see it as negative, it's contradictory. She says she's letting him take the lead on what he wants to do with his children. So if the man decides to never talk to the children again, she's essentially saying she's fine with it. That's fine with her. In fact, that's probably even better for her. That's probably news to her ears, because that is what she wanted in the beginning. She didn't want a man with children. She wanted somebody that didn't have no children. So if he's willing to abandon his children, that's great for her. She's gonna take it. And she's gonna be glad and happy if he abandons the other children and never talks to them again. Because guess what? It's gonna be like they can make believe and act like the children don't exist. My thing about it is like for Tyler to come in and be like, oh, the plan was never for it to be me. The plan was always for you to be parented by two women. Then why have two more children with Bri then? If that's the case. And why move in with her and play house and have the children call you daddy if what you're saying is true? I don't get it. Apparently she's saying that Bri is now engaged to be married to another woman, and I really don't know. All I have to say is, why get yourself into a more tangled web if you had no intention of sticking around? It just doesn't make any sense. It just seems to me like he found, as I said, he found his golden goose. He doesn't want that golden goose to go anywhere, because that golden goose is gonna be what he gets the money, where he gets the money from to pay that child support. He needs that golden goose and to find a place to live. Several times they speak on the podcast about fake journalists and so on and so forth. Well, she was referring to Ricky. Ricky is a lady that does celebrity stuff. She does all the behind the scenes gossip and things of that nature, all the behind the scenes receipts. And she essentially is trying to discredit Ricky, and Ricky came with the proof. Ricky's like, this is the number, this is his number. And how I know it's his number? Because I asked Bri's mom, and this is the same number that Bri's mom gave me for Tyler. So it's like Ashley's attempting to play on what it seems like the viewer's intelligence, and it doesn't work. It's not working because there has been what seems like logical proof being provided. It's not like people just talking out of their ass. Proof is being provided. She tried to discredit it, but sadly, it's not gonna work. It would work if no proof was ever provided, but proof was indeed provided. She put the number that she put the lady's number. Now that lady is the lady that supposedly got contacted by Tyler to stay at her house, and that was during the time he was in a situation with Ashley. It could have been a moment where Ashley put his ass out for lying and he didn't know where to go or who to turn to. So he called that other woman and she was like, okay, I guess. But to deny it and say it's a lie and to say it's fake journalists, I just feel like it makes you look even more stupid. But anyways, you guys, let me know what you think in the comment section about Ashley choosing to wear a cape for her man, be her man's PR, and so on and so forth. As I said before, I said in the comment section of somebody's video that the reason why she's going so hard for Tyler is that Tyler is a reflection of her, and that's not a very good reflection. So she has to defend it, because guess what? She's choosing to stick by it. If people are questioning his character, you see it as them questioning your character. So you're gonna defend him like you're defending yourself. And I understand it. I get it. You're gonna continue to defend this relationship for the rest of your life. What to say? The good thing about Love is Blind is eventually we could care less about the past contestants. So pretty soon you're gonna just fade into oblivion and nobody's gonna care unless we hear new news that you left him or you're pregnant or something that thickens the plot. But beyond that, we could care less. So anyways, you guys, like, share, subscribe, and see you next time.